Well, one more post-game show for you guys. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Harrison Graham, as the Bears in wild fashion lose 31-17 to wrap up their 2021 season. They led 14-0, including 14-3 at halftime, and then it unraveled in the second half. Honestly, a very perfect ending to the Matt Nagy era, as he is expected to get fired. Minnesota wins it 31-17. Some numbers here. Andy Dalton, 33 of 48, 325 yards and a touchdown, but 2 fourth-quarter interceptions really put him in. Also, the Bears got stopped 4 times on fourth down. David Montgomery, 20 carries, 72 yards. Darnell Mooney ends on a positive note, though. 12 catches, 126 yards. No touchdowns, but over 1,000 yards in his second year. That's really solid. Kirk Cousins tossed 3 touchdowns, 250 yards. Also, Dalvin Cook, 79 yards rushing. And then Justin Jefferson, 107 yards and 1 touchdown on the game, as Minnesota improves to 8-9, and the Chicago Bears fall to 6-11 to wrap up their season. And honestly, it has thankfully come to an end. Grade it for us. Grade the entire season for the Bears. 6-11. A, B, C, D, or F. Get your grades in. Let us know down in the comment section. My grade for the Bears, I'll go D. I won't go flat out F. It's not like this is the worst team in the league. The players kept playing hard for Matt Nagy. I will give him that, but just a disappointing year. The offense never really materialized. Some disappointment, some injuries certainly involved as well, but at the end of the day, not good enough. It can't be higher than a C- because it was a failure of a season, and if it's a failure, it has to be a D or an F. We all went to school. If you don't get at least a C, you don't pass. So I give the Bears a D on the season. They lose 31-17 here in Week 18. All right, subscribe to the channel because the offseason, it starts right now. Subscribe this second. Hit that big red button, news, rumors. I expect Matt Nagy to be fired on Monday. The rest of this video is not even going to be about today's game. It's going to be about the red-hot rumors that are circulating around Nagy, Pace, some other stuff as well. So subscribe. Don't miss any of it. The plan is to go live as soon as Matt Nagy is fired, which will likely be on Monday. So stay tuned for that. The offseason is here for the Chicago Bears. Join the family here at Chicago Bears Now. All right, so there's your quick recap of the game. There's your subscribe. Please help us out. Let's help grow the channel. Major Chicago Bears rumors. That's what we're talking about for the rest of this game. So let's talk about the head coach, as we fully expect Matt Nagy to be fired. As we film it this literal second, it's not officially official, but Ian Rapoport, Jay Glazer, and others are saying he will not return next season. Nagy said all along he has not been told anything about his job status. The plan is, as always, to meet with the McCaskies, potentially Ryan Pace on Monday. We'll talk about Pace in a minute, about his status, the season review, all of that good stuff. Firing, I think, could happen maybe tonight, probably on Monday is when we will officially find out. But one thing we know for sure, he is going to be fired. That has been clear for weeks. It's just a matter of whether it's tonight or tomorrow. The end, it's not near, it's here. The end is here, folks. The Matt Nagy era will come to an end and has come to an end. It's just a matter of whether it's January 9th, 2022 or January 10th, 2022. That's really all that's up for debate at this point in time, as a disappointing 2021 season has led to his demise. And at the end of the day, this is why he's not back. This is why, because he peaked in year one. You peak in year one, you regress after that. That's just not going to get it done, man. 12-4, awesome. 8-8, decline. 8-8, lost in the first round of the playoffs. 6-11 this year. You know, 34-31 overall doesn't look bad, but when you were 8 games above 500 in year one, it kind of tells the story, right? The regression happened after that 2018 season. And look, the Cody Parkey double doink will always be one of those what-if moments in the history of the Chicago Bears. But at the end of the day, after that moment, it's like time stopped. It never got better. It got worse. And that's why he's going to be fired by this franchise. So the reports are out there. Nothing is finalized. Nothing is officially official, but he will not return. I can say that with as close to 100% certainty as I possibly can. Matt Nagy will not be the head coach of the Chicago Bears after tomorrow. Who should be the next Bears head coach? Because with Nagy out, a critical decision is coming. You got to figure out who is going to lead this franchise in terms of the coaching staff? Let us know. Predict it for us down in the comments section. And whoever that coach is, you better get the best out of Justin Fields. Support Justin Fields, who unfortunately couldn't play in the season finale. You can get his jersey for only $90. Excuse me. Oh, my God. At chatsports.com/FieldsJersey. I just burped on the Matt Nagy era because it's that disgusting. Chatsports.com/FieldsJersey. That link will be in the comments. It'll be in the description. Pick up a brand new Bears jersey today. And, hey, you know, you got Justin Fields, baby. There is a foundation to work with this team for whoever the head coach is. So let's go from the head coach to the general manager. Ryan Pace, future is in doubt. Maybe, maybe not. Rumors around Pace all over the place over the last 72 hours. I've heard everything that he could be promoted to president of football operations, to he could stay as GM, or to he could be fired. I think all three are a realistic possibility. Now, hopefully the Bears have already made this decision, but if they haven't, you got about 20 hours to do so. You have tonight and early in the morning to finalize this situation. You can't wait until mid-late next week to fire Ryan Pace. You got to make a decision. If the decision is to keep him, I don't necessarily agree with it, but at least it's a firm decision. If the decision is to fire him, good. Let's get a new regime in here. Let's get a GM and then go get a head coach, because you can't hire a coach, at least in my opinion, and I think most teams' opinions as well, without a general manager. It just can't be done. It doesn't make sense. Operating like that would be foolish. So if Pace is gone, great. Get a GM that can start a coaching search. If Pace is here to stay, whether it's promoting to president of football ops or as GM, fine, I don't care. But you got to make a decision in the next 24 hours about Ryan Pace's future. I think it's 50-50 on whether he remains in the organization or he goes, but we will see what happens. Are the Bears going to fire Ryan Pace? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Get your votes in down in the comment section. We'll see, man. We will see. I'll tell you this. This is why you should subscribe, because, again, we're going to have you guys covered from here on out. But also, we already did a Ryan Pace replacements video in case he does get fired or promoted, I guess, because you would still need a GM. Some new candidates have emerged. Go check that out, youtube.com/BearsNow. Hit that big red button. Go to the videos tab, and you can find this video and several others as well. All right, one more story to go here on, I guess, today's post-game show. We're really just talking about the hot rumors right now. How about bring back Vic Fangio? I think so. I think that should be the move. Broncos fired Fangio earlier on Sunday. And let me be clear, as defensive coordinator, bring him back. Not as head coach, because he did not prove to be a great head coach in Denver. Certainly wasn't his fault completely. They couldn't get the quarterback figured out, but 3 losing seasons there. But we know he's an excellent defensive coordinator. Spent 2015 through 18 as the Bears DC, that 18 defense, one of the best in franchise history, arguably the best in franchise history outside of the 85 team, definitely up there. We know how good of a defensive mind he is. He's my number 1 defensive coordinator candidate. Depending on who the head coach is, of course, will increase or decrease the odds of getting Vic Fangio in Chicago. There's been a lot of chatter. Hired Jim Harbaugh as head coach, and he already has a relationship with Fangio. He can be the DC. I would love that. Harbaugh and Fangio 2022, who says no? I think that would be absolutely fantastic. And if you bring back Fangio, for those of you who like Sean Desai, I think he could potentially stay as like a safeties coach, secondary coach. Him and Vic Fangio have a good relationship. They have similar ideologies. He's a Fangio disciple. It's possible Desai could be the defensive coordinator next year as well. But let me be clear. Whoever the new head coach is, it has the right to make that decision. That should not be like a George McCaskey thing, like, hey, we're hiring you as head coach, but you have to keep Sean Desai. No, the new head coach needs to decide who the DC is. But I think if you bring in Fangio, then Desai naturally, unless he gets a DC gig elsewhere, would be a candidate to remain on staff. Should the Bears bring back Vic Fangio as defensive coordinator? Type 1 for yes. Type 2 for no. He's my top candidate. He had a hell of a defense this year in Denver. They just couldn't figure out the offense. We know he can coach. I am all in on bringing back Vic Fangio. Follow me on Instagram, because like here on the channel, I'll keep you guys up to date with everything around the Bears. It's going to be a hectic 24, 48, 72 hours, perhaps even longer around this football team, so we'll have coverage on the channel. But here on IG as well, go give me a follow at HGramNFL. It's at HGramNFL on Instagram. Buckle up, folks, as some would say, because things are about to get hectic around the Chicago Bears.